Part 1, The Unsettling Dreams. Chapter 1, Restless Nights. The moon hung low in the night sky, casting an eerie glow over the small town of Ravenswood. For weeks now, Alex had been plagued by a series of unsettling dreams. Each night, he would wake up drenched in sweat, his heart pounding in his chest. The dreams were always the same, a relentless cycle of darkness and despair. In these dreams, he would find himself wandering through a dense, shadowy forest, the trees whispering secrets he couldn't quite grasp. Something lurked in the darkness, something ancient and malevolent. Alex could feel its presence, a creeping sense of dread that would send shivers down his spine. Chapter 2, The Ominous Warnings. As the days turned into weeks, Alex's waking life began to unravel. He found it increasingly difficult to concentrate at work, and his once vibrant social life withered away. He couldn't shake the feeling that the dreams were trying to tell him something, a warning of some kind. One evening, while browsing the dusty shelves of an antique bookstore, Alex stumbled upon a weathered old tome. Its leather cover was adorned with strange symbols, and it seemed to radiate an unsettling energy. The title read, The Chronicles of the Cursed. Curiosity piqued, Alex purchased the book and brought it home. As he delved into its pages, he discovered a chilling passage that sent a shiver down his spine. Beware the forest, for it is the gateway to your darkest desires. Those who venture too deep may find themselves slowly becoming monsters. Chapter 3, The Forest Beckons. The words haunted him, but he couldn't shake the feeling that the dreams and the book were somehow connected. With each passing night, the dreams grew more vivid, and the forest seemed to beckon him closer. It was as if some unseen force was pulling him toward its depths. Unable to resist any longer, Alex decided to venture into the nearby woods. He told himself it was just to confront his fears, to prove to himself that the dreams were nothing more than a manifestation of his own anxiety. But deep down, he knew he was drawn there by something far more sinister. Part 2, The Descent. Chapter 4, The Forbidden Grove. The forest was even more foreboding in person than it had been in Alex's dreams. The trees loomed overhead, their branches twisting and contorting like gnarled hands reaching for the sky. The air was thick with an otherworldly silence, broken only by the occasional rustling of leaves. As he ventured deeper into the woods, Alex stumbled upon a hidden grove. In the center of the grove stood a solitary oak tree, its trunk covered in strange markings. It was there that he saw her, a woman with long, flowing hair, her eyes a deep, mesmerizing shade of green. Chapter 5, The Enchantress. The woman introduced herself as Alara, and she seemed to know everything about Alex, as if she had been expecting him. She spoke in riddles, weaving a tale of ancient curses and forbidden desires. She claimed that the forest held the key to unlocking his true potential, but the price of such power was steep. Despite his reservations, Alex found himself drawn to Alara. Her words resonated with something deep within him, something he had long buried. He agreed to return to the grove night after night, where Alara would teach him the secrets of the forest. Chapter 6, The Transformation Begins. With each visit to the grove, Alex felt himself changing. He could see it in the mirror, the subtle shifts in his appearance, the sharpening of his teeth, the elongation of his fingers, the darkening of his eyes. He was becoming something other than human, and he couldn't stop it. Alara assured him that this transformation was necessary, that it was the only way to embrace his true nature. She spoke of the power he would gain, the ability to control the very elements themselves. But with each passing day, Alex felt a growing sense of unease. Was he really willing to sacrifice his humanity for such power? Part 3, The Point of No Return. Chapter 7, The Breaking Point. As the days turned into weeks, Alex's friends and family grew increasingly worried about him. They could see the changes in him, the darkness that had taken hold. He had become distant and withdrawn, consumed by his obsession with the forest and Alara. One night, as he returned to the grove, Alex found a note waiting for him beneath the oak tree. It was from his best friend, Sarah, begging him to come back to them, to leave the forest behind. He crumpled the note in his hand, torn between his loyalty to his friend and his growing thirst for power. Chapter 8, The Unraveling. Alex's transformation continued unabated, and with each passing day, he felt himself slipping further away from the person he used to be. The forest had a hold on him, and he couldn't break free. Alara's promises of power had become an all-consuming obsession, and he was willing to do anything to attain it. One fateful night, as he stood in the grove, he heard a voice, faint but familiar. It was Sarah, calling out to him from the darkness. She had ventured into the forest in search of him, determined to bring him back. But as she drew closer, Alex could see that something was horribly wrong. Her eyes glowed with an unnatural light, and her voice was cold and distant. Chapter 9, The Final Descent. In that moment, Alex realized the terrible truth: he had led Sarah into the same darkness that had consumed him. The forest had twisted her, turned her into something monstrous. He tried to flee, to escape the nightmare that had become his life, but it was too late. The forest closed in around him, its sinister magic sealing his fate. Part 4, The Price of Power. Chapter 10, The Eternal Curse. Time lost all meaning in the depths of the forest. Alex and Sarah were trapped, their bodies and souls forever bound to the cursed grove. Alara's promises of power had come at a devastating cost, and now they were condemned to wander the forest for all eternity, their humanity slowly slipping away. As the years passed, the grove claimed more victims, drawing them in with the allure of power and transformation. The townspeople grew to fear the forest, for they knew that to enter its depths was to court madness and damnation. And so, the forest of Ravenswood became a place of legend, a place where the line between humanity and monstrosity blurred, and where the price of power was paid in blood.